call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday and welcome into the Pod at the Palace. I'm your host, Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. Potentially here to confuse some of you. If you listen to Inside Arkansas Live on Thursday, you probably heard me say, hey, no morning Pod at the Palace on Friday. And the reason being, we have a recruit who's announcing his commitment Friday morning that I plan to react to one way or the other based on his decision. And, we're doing a primetime at the Palace preview live out at Goat Lab Red at 6 o'clock. So I didn't want to burn through all that info before it happened. And I'm either going live or doing a rapid reaction, something to post from some post-Midnight Madness content for you. So my thought process was, man, I'll trade you guys the morning for 3 episodes throughout the course of the day, which is fair, I think. But I do know that not everyone got the memo when I brought it up on the show on Thursday. And I'm grateful to those who start their day with the Pod at the Palace. It makes me happy every time I see that. I listen to you when I'm driving to work. I listen to you at the gym, listen to you with my coffee, whatever. I think that's really cool. And honestly, there's still enough meat on the bone to have a solid little rapid fire Friday here. So I want to do that. What it means is you're going to get 4 pieces of basketball content here a month before the first official game of the season. So yes, we take our hoops very seriously around these parts in case you couldn't notice. And yes, this is why this episode dropped earlier than normal, because I wanted to get some decent run before Abdou Toure announces his decision, because we're going to have our rapid reaction to that as well. A reminder to you guys, make sure you join us at Goat Lab Red out in Oak Plaza on North Garland in Fayetteville at 6 o'clock today on Friday. We're going to preview primetime at the Palace. We got some picks, some predictions. We're going to have some fun out there, some giveaways. You can drink cold beer, Tusk Light, Razorback, you name it, whatever your drink of choice is. And then while we're out there, 25-cent wings. Fill up that belly before you head over to Bud Walton Arena for the event. And we also want to welcome our newest sponsor today. That's right. It's Gracie Frizzell of Collier & Associates, our official real estate expert here at Inside Arkansas, officially licensed in both Arkansas and Oklahoma. Gracie is here to take care of your real estate needs, whether you're looking for investment property, a game day getaway, land investment, or a new home. Gracie is your trusted guide from start to finish. Give her a call or a text today at 501-690-3868 for questions on all things real estate, or check her out on Instagram at Gracie Frizz. It's Gracie Frizzell of Collier & Associates, the official real estate expert of Inside Arkansas. Okay, it's decision day. We've been waiting for this, right? For Abdou Toure. First of all, if you're listening to this on Friday and you came across this episode after 11 a.m., skip the next 4 or 5 minutes and then watch the rest, and then go watch our rapid reaction to Abdou Toure's announcement. Yes, 11 a.m. Central Time, he is going to announce from his high school on his IG Live. So you can catch that there if you want to. Otherwise, I mean, everybody's going to be putting out their graphics, and we're certainly going to talk about it. Arkansas, Providence, and UConn, the final 3 here. Really, we've talked about it, man. It's Arkansas or Providence in this situation. Been a lot of chatter out there that the biggest bag wins, right? And we've talked about that a ton here recently, but there's more to it than just that. I mean, this is also a decision between, frankly, the school best positioned to get you prepared and to the league versus the one that can maybe guarantee you a more immediate focal point type of role. And, it's those things matter too. It's sometimes I feel bad when a lot of the intel is pointing towards, well, whoever pays the most or whatever, sometimes that means they want you the most, or they've recruited you the hardest and they don't want to lose you, so they'll up the ante. It's not all about dollars and cents, but yeah, that certainly matters in today's day and age, but there's other factors as well, and that's part of it. And it's interesting, sometimes we do know for certain where a kid is going and we'll shout it out, sometimes we do know, but we play coy about it to you guys, if I'm being honest, out of respect to the players' wishes. And, you just got to kind of play the game there. It's all about relationships in this business. Just being honest with you guys, I genuinely have not been told for certain going into this what's going to happen. Now, I've got a fairly strong hunch as to where this is headed, but sometimes you'll have, a high school coach just tell you flat out what it's going to be. Sometimes the commit or his family will say, hey, this is what's happening if you want to get your story ready, whatever. That hasn't happened in this case, but there's been a lot of intel out there lately. And frankly, it's been, fairly one-sided and the smoke has been blowing towards Fayetteville here on Thursday night. And that probably feels good for Razorback fans to hear, given how the rest of the week went. And, after his Arkansas visit, I was told that Abdou wanted to be a Hog, but they were kind of in a holding pattern. And after John Calipari's visit to see him, I was told that he would be a Hog. And the last week here, since he set his commitment date for Friday, there really hasn't been much of anything out there up until Thursday night. A little unnerving in the moment there for a few days, though, but we expected the info to start flowing in a little bit heavier the evening before the decision, kind of the midnight hour. That's usually the way that it works. And that's been the case here to a degree. So the way I see it, we can believe the random Providence crystal ball that went out there, or what we've been hearing before things got quiet, which is that Arkansas was the team to beat unless Providence was able to push that price point to a place where John Calipari wasn't willing to go. Not to where he couldn't go, but where he might not be willing to go. And I don't have any indication here tonight that has happened outside of that AI chat GPT crystal ball projection thing that we talked about the last couple of days. And at least on my end, for the most part, any numbers that I've heard floating around, they've come from the Arkansas side. So there's just not enough there for me to change my mind based on that one, crystal ball pick that went out there. And when I think about this one, with JJ Andrews, for example, over the summer, remember he was getting all those Missouri predictions. And even like my guy, Eric Bossi, and I worked at 24/7 for years, and he never steered me wrong on a recruit. Never. Nailed it. Ron Holland, Anthony Black, Nick Smith, Jordan Rush, all those guys, was all over it. TB, all of it. And was never given a reason to not believe him. And he put the prediction in for Missouri with JJ Andrews, and I was like, dang. But was still hearing Arkansas from strong sources, very adamant about it. And so we stood on that, and turned out to be right. And I bring that up for two reasons. One, because, it's crystal ball projections, RPMs, whatever you want to call them, they're not 100% locks in some cases. In some cases they are, because and you put them in there, and that's fine. But sometimes it's very educated guesses, and sometimes you just get bad info. And the other reason I say it is because, there's not as much evidence to the contrary in this case with Toure. Like with JJ, when those crystal ball picks started coming in, I was having people reaching out to me saying, that's bullshit. That's crazy. It's not a thing. He's not going to Missouri. He's a Hog. I don't know what they're talking about. And it hasn't been that strong of pushback that I've received, but you can still see some similarities here in the midnight hour between the two recruitments, which I find interesting because, if Abdou Toure commits, and he'll be alongside JJ Andrews, similar recruitments, somewhat similar players, similar styles of game. It's, it's kind of interesting, but I get it, man. Like the silence was deafening at times here the last few days, and you never say never in a recruitment. And I guess there could always be time to, up a price point or whatever. But based on where things are at here at, late Thursday evening, I said I would make a prediction. I'm sticking with Arkansas as the choice here for Toure. Either way, we'll have a reaction for you when the announcement happens, and we'll elaborate more one way or the other. So be on the lookout for that for sure. But a little bit of a primer there on a decision on what's been a pretty, primary type of target there for the Razorbacks. Moving on. If you're a high school basketball player, I just do not know how you wouldn't be massively interested in playing for Coach Cal. I just don't know how you would. Like, he's like the lone survivor of college coaches who have, not cast freshmen, high school players all the way aside in favor of transfer portal gets. It's crazy how the landscape has shifted. But he also went on Jim Rome, and it's so weird because that used to be an Eric Musselman thing. Now it's a John Calipari thing. But he went on Jim Rome, and he had some really interesting things to say, I thought. And, a lot of folks, and I get it, Cal, he's washed, he's stubborn, he's stuck in his ways, he's lost his fastball. But you tell me if this sounds like that or somebody who's innovative and adaptable in this new landscape. Because he's talking to Jim Rome, and I would encourage you to go find the clips or check out the interview. We can't do it. We'll get demonetized for it. But he has successfully insured these donor-based NIL payments that the basketball guys are getting. And meaning like there's an agreed upon number for NIL here. And if, an athlete gets injured, they're still getting taken care of. They're still getting paid. Like, you're not going to hold that against them. but it is insured to where you don't run into, a donor who's given $1 million and a player gets hurt or, they transfer or whatever, and you wind up getting zero return on your investment, and the program starts running into donor fatigue. And that's happening all over the country and probably in other sports or whatever at Arkansas. But Cal has kind of found a way to get out ahead of this a little bit. And it's brilliant. And he has this place called 32 Group who's setting him up with all that. So now, the player doesn't get screwed if there's an unforeseen circumstance. The donor or the business or whatever who's fronting that NIL money has some protection now on their investment, and it's a win-win for Cal and the program. So that's a beautiful thing. He said that he estimated upwards of $3 billion being paid out across the country in all sports and NIL. And he said there might be 3, 4, 5 places that are doing this. And now Arkansas is one of them. So I thought that was very cool. And secondly, Cal, the man couldn't even upload a resignation video in Lexington last year, but now he's using AI to streamline this NIL clearinghouse process. It's kind of insane. He's literally using AI to go through all the NIL deals that are submitted through that clearinghouse, NIL Go, the company's called Deloitte, to determine why all those deals were either approved or denied. I get all those patterns, figure it all out. They don't have time to do it, but AI does, and it can save you a lot of headaches when you put these things together moving forward, because a lot of these deals, some of them are just getting denied right away, and it's because of something silly. You got to go through the whole process again, and you get moved to the back of the queue or whatever, right? In other cases, it's just stuck in limbo because there's so many deals getting pushed through, and you wait and you wait and you wait, and then you wind up getting, a technicality, or you didn't meet this criteria or whatever. And so they're kind of streamlining the process here and speeding it up, which means, in theory, your players should start having access to their funds a lot quicker. So that's a good thing. Moving on, a couple other things. Like I said, this is going to be a little rapid fire this morning because we got so much going on. We do have another Andy Katz list that we need to briefly discuss, and I'm going to pull it up right here. There you have it. Okay. And this goes back to conversations we've had the last 2 days. Bud Walton Arena was number 6 in the country on Andy Katz's most vaunted arenas list. We talked about it the other day, but it's nowhere to be found here on the rowdiest student sections. Well, that feels interesting. John Calipari has been touring all the frats and all the sororities to get all you students fired up and on board. Now the ball is literally in your court to reestablish that intimidating home court environment. And we're not that far removed from it. We're really not. Last year, it showed signs of life down the stretch last year, but for a while it wasn't great. 2 years ago, the team stunk with Muss, and so that obviously impacts things. But outside of that, those early years with Muss, man, and even, the days with Mike, that place was rocking. It really did embody that. You better be 10 points better than Arkansas to go into Bud Walton Arena and beat them. And it was so true. One of the toughest places, you hear people talk about it all the time. It'd be deafening in there. And the students can really, really set the tone for that. So if your arena, Razorback students and fans, is, viewed as a top 10 venue in the sport, and you have, arguably a top 10 program at your disposal, I'm challenging you to be a top 10 student section. You got plenty to be excited about. And it starts at primetime at the Palace on Friday. I know Cal's been making a concerted effort to get everybody out there. They're giving away scholarships. They're giving away, half court shots for an opportunity to win $20,000. All these things there for you guys. And all you got to do in return is cheer them on. Take it personal. I want to see you guys on this list next year. I know you got it in you. Okay. Let me get this off of here. Last thing, and we'll wrap it up here for the day. Or for the next few hours at least. I'm so sick of talking about this, but I had to bring it up. Oh, man. Per Ross Dellinger, I think he's at On 3 now. We are closing in on expanding the NCAA tournament to 76 teams. Okay. So it's 8 more teams, but what does that mean? Well, it means 8 more games added to the NCAA tournament. And what that effectively, instead of your first 4 that you have, which is like the last 4 at-large teams and the last 4 automatic bids, and they all play in Dayton, whatever, you know how it is, the play-in games, it would effectively be a 12-game opening round to get you to that traditional field of 64. too much, man. It would be on Tuesday and Wednesday as always, and then leading into the Thursday, Friday round of 64, split between Dayton, and then they're talking about adding a location out west. So they got something that makes sense for everybody geographically. So you would have 52 teams out of a 76-team field bracketed on Selection Sunday. So with the final 12 spots to get you to 64 would be filled in by the winners of those games, those 12 games, right? So it would be the 12 lowest seeded auto bids. So congrats on winning your conference tournament. If you are a 14, 15, or 16 seed, you have to play in this, basically, right? And it would be the lowest 12 at-large teams also. So if you think about Joe Lenardi's bracketology, right? And he's got the last 4 in and the last 4 buys on the bubble, all those teams would be in this. All of them would have to play in this. I believe that means Arkansas would have had to be in this play-in deal in Dayton last year under this format that they're proposing, or damn near it. They were a 10 seed. They weren't even close to missing the field, missing the tournament. And the crazy part about it is, for me, is if you expand to 76, you were even further removed from being in danger. If you were a team in Arkansas situation last year, or Oklahoma, who was a 10 seed also, right? So that being the case, like, you're even more in than you were before, yet you have to play in this pseudo playing game, this new extra round, which means you have one more win that you have to get to go get a national championship. I think it's bullshit. Pardon my French, but think about that for a second. Arkansas they were a 10 seed, and they had all the injuries and everything. They were playing great ball at the end of the year, and they get to a Sweet 16. They were one shot away from an Elite 8. Legitimate chance at that point. If you're one of the final 8 teams in the country, like, you have a shot to win the whole thing. And that team would have had to play an extra game to get there. So you're trying to reward 8 teams who don't have the resume to get into the tournament now. And you're also punishing more teams who were already in the field and would be even safer under this format. I think that's crazy. I just think it's crazy, man. So at any rate, stop fixing what isn't broken. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Come on now. Yeah, if you were on the bubble, you're playing in that. Basically, if you're an 11 seed or a 12 seed, you would be in Dayton or whatever. Arkansas would have been right on that line. They might have been able to avoid it last year, but they would have been very close. My point is, like one loss would have made a difference there, or if one other team would have won a game and bumped Arkansas down one more spot, or some stupid, you lose a quad 1 win in the net and it drops you down one line, and then all of a sudden you have to do that. That's crazy. It's crazy, man. Whatever. Stop fixing what ain't broke, man. It's a beautiful thing. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Anyway, getting out of here for now. Be on the lookout for everything that we got going on. We're going to have a reaction to the Abdou Toure decision sometime around 11 o'clock whenever he announces. We'll get that out. We've got Inside Arkansas live at noon. We've got Pot at the Palace primetime preview and primetime at the Palace at 6 o'clock out at Goat Lab Red, and then we'll have some reaction stuff and some info for you afterwards into the evening. But out of here for now. Been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. Appreciate y'all. Have a good day. We'll catch you next time.